You're listening to The Terrific Teacherpreneur, a podcast for teachers looking to grow a successful online business. Your host, Alex, was able to transform her Teachers Pay Teachers store from a small side hustle into a profitable full-time business. She now helps other teachers do the same. Listen along for actionable tips and helpful wisdom about business and marketing as a teacherpreneur. Here's your host, Alex.
Hello and welcome to the Terrific Teacherpreneur podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about makeup. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, have I tuned into the wrong podcast? Isn't this supposed to be about TBT stuff? Don't worry. I'm going to be talking all about teacher business, TBT, businessy stuff. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about high-end luxury makeup and some of the lessons that I've learned as a consumer and how that applies to TBT. So basically, the things I'm kind of noticing as a buyer and going, that's interesting. I wonder if that kind of applies as a business owner, whether I could implement some of these strategies that I'm noticing. Anyway, long story short, a little kind of interest of mine is I've always, over the years, really enjoyed makeup. Like when I was a teenager, in my early 20s, that kind of thing. I go through phases and, the algorithm serves you what it knows you like. And so like my TikTok feed is filled with all these videos from BeautyTok, which is like this corner of the TikTok sphere. And it's all these influencers, showing makeup tutorials and, pushing all these makeup products. And it's really, really fascinating watching the way the whole system works, seeing all the cogs and how it all goes. And I've just been noticing through the videos I watch and my own buyer behavior, like online, in person, like buying this stuff, buying all these cosmetics. I'm learning a lot of business strategy here. And I'm like, hey, this could definitely apply to TBT. I think I should share some of these things that I'm noticing. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're doing there. We're going to be talking about makeup. Weird, I know, but it is going to be helpful, I promise. Okay, so I tend to buy this kind of stuff, and it's a bit of a guilty pleasure because it's expensive. Some of this stuff is really just like this little tiny product you're putting on your face, and it's really, really pricey. But I sometimes just buy it because I want to look nice, and it's the same way that a teacher might buy a really good quality resource from TPT because they want a really great lesson. They want it to turn out really, really well. Like sometimes we will invest in things and we just really want a good outcome. But I think it's a little bit more than that. I've actually researched it a little bit. I mean, I'm just doing a quick Google. It will tell you that people tend to buy high-end, expensive luxury items for a bunch of different reasons. So there's an interesting psychology behind it. It's a few different things: status, identity, obviously quality, like I mentioned, emotional appeal, and it can project a bit of a desired image. It helps people express their personal style, and it can also just be like a sense of pleasure, enjoyment. Obviously, some people also really value things like craftsmanship, the exclusivity, the durability. Like there's a lot of things associated with luxury brands. And like I said, I mean, I want quality, that's a part of it, but I think that it's more than just wanting something that's good. I think there's definitely that exclusivity to it. I think I can acknowledge that I don't just buy this stuff just because it's better quality. I think there's just like this excitement that I'm, getting something that's like lucrative. I don't know. I think in makeup, it's the same in any other kind of luxury industry. And sometimes you get what you pay for, and a Gucci handbag is probably truly going to be much better craftsmanship than something you might get off, Shein or something. But there's also this grey area in retail where you can pay quite a lot of money for things that are actually manufactured quite cheaply. And, sometimes the cheaper thing's actually just as good as the expensive thing, but we tend to still buy the expensive thing just because of the brand name or brand loyalty or whatever. Like we think it might be better, but also we just want the label of it. Like it's really fascinating, basically, the whole like luxury goods industry. But anyway, makeup has been kind of my guilty pleasure over the years. And so I kind of wanted to share some lessons. So one of the things I will mention in this episode is the AIDA concept. So that's like in marketing: awareness, interest, desire, and action. And I'm going to mention those words here and there. And I think it will just kind of help you understand like what point in the buyer journey I was. But let's start off with awareness. Awareness is such an important thing in marketing and business. You basically want people to know who you are. You want teachers to know about your store, right? So can start often with freebies. I know that in Facebook groups, like the TPT Facebook groups, sometimes people are really the kind of freebie bashing, like there's too many freebies on TBT, freebies are terrible, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't agree with that. I agree there's a lot of freebies, but I don't agree that freebies are somehow bad. I just think in all industries, like freebies are so powerful. But in the beauty world, the free samples that you get when you have like a reward program from somewhere like Sephora, or some kind of birthday gift you get, or like things like that. There are freebies you can get kind of in the beauty world. And I found that it's one of those things that gives me brand awareness. So, for example, here in Australia, we have this place called Mecca, which is a bit like Sephora. And you get this little little beauty box with like a few little free samples every couple of months. And I got this little like cleanser thing from this brand called Pixie. Never heard of it. I just like put it in my cupboard, and I have never even used the product. But when I was next in the store in person, many like weeks later, walking around, my eye was caught by the stand that had all these Pixie products. Normally, I probably would have just walked right past it, but I was like, my eye got drawn to it because I was like, oh, that word is familiar to me. That name is familiar to me. And like, oh, where do I recognize it from? Oh, it's that freebie I got. And then, yeah, I just like clicked to my brain. I was like, oh, that's brand awareness. Like right there, a brand I'd never heard of, never would have purchased. Like there's no money coming from me towards that brand until I get this little free sample. And now suddenly I'm looking at their stuff and I'm thinking, oh, what's this brand? Like I'm basically getting attention. They're getting my attention. And I thought that straight away, that's brand awareness. That freebie is like, how clever is that? And it's the same on TBT. We know that teachers often go on there, they're either just searching for things and freebies come up, or they're specifically searching for freebies. They find your free resource, they download it, and then that's it. Like they're in your funnel now. There's that brand awareness. They know who you are. They own something that you've got, and you've kind of got your hooks in. Really, it's really, really powerful. And it's not just the awareness thing. It's no like trust factor, like knowing the brand, yeah. But when you try that little free sample, it's getting oh, I like this. Oh, I trust them now. I got like a little birthday gift mascara. Oh, now I know who that brand is. Now I actually like that brand because the mascara was so good. Another brand, I got this little mini sized lip gloss thing. And then, same thing happened. I went into the store. Now I see the brand. I'm like, ooh, I wonder would I get the full size one. So it's a really interesting concept of, trying something out and having that kind of loyalty to it built. And you go, would I pay now for that thing that know, that like, that trust is there? So same thing on TBT. I think it's really fascinating. But yeah, you're going to have people try that free sample of yours. They're going to not only know who you are, but they're going to like that freebie, assuming that it's good quality, begin to trust your brand, and then it's just paving the way for them to go back and buy a paid resource from you. Makes it very, very easy and effortless for them. Now, in the beauty world, giving free samples to consumers isn't the only way that these companies are using the concept of freebies. They also send freebies to influencers, so social media influencers. And so these people that are on TikTok and stuff, and the videos I'm watching, they're on something called a PR list. And so every time the brand releases a new product, like here's a new mascara, they send a bunch of those mascaras for free to all of these influencers that have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. And what's interesting is those influencers have no obligation to show this product to their followers. But, when you get something for free, why not try it? They'll try it out themselves. If they like it, they're probably going to end up featuring it in one of their videos, oh my goodness, this was so amazing. This is so great, guys. And so a lot of the time, these products go viral on social media. And it's because a bunch of these people have fallen in love with this resource they actually basically got for free, never even paid for, but they just genuinely like it. And then they can't help but rave about it. And so that's another way, a very clever way that these brands use free stuff to get you to buy stuff. And you watch that video and you're like, oh wow, this is like the 10th time that someone has raved about this thing. I'm going to go and get it. And that's obviously not something that's really like in the TBT space. We don't really have that same sort of thing. I just wanted to share it because I thought it was really, really interesting. So yeah, in summary, freebies really great. A really great way to get that brand awareness. So just something to think about. I would say, if I'm going to summarize that point for you as like a little takeaway, I would be, prioritizing making really great quality TBT freebies and email list freebies that you can use as a little gateway drug to, upsell into paid resources. Make sure they're always connected to paid resources. Make sure they're always really great quality, because that is a great way for people to get that know, like, trust factor and to want to buy from you. So next up, I want to talk about small or mini products. So in the beauty world, there are minis. And so I'll be, in line at Sephora about to buy something, and then I impulse buy these little minis because at the checkout, they have all these little cute, tiny mini versions of products all lined up. It's very strategic. As you're queuing up, they're all looking at you. And a bunch of times I have bought things I never really planned on buying, didn't even want or need. I just like, it was this cute little mini that was right there. And I'm not actually talking about like checkout upsells at this point, although that's obviously a great thing TBT, could be doing but more of. But minis just in general, like, are really great because it's a good little like stepping stone to buying a more expensive resource. So if we're comparing that, to the TBT space, that's like you having, a small cheap product that's maybe $2 or $3, and people might buy that first and build more of that trust with you, and then they might want to one day invest in a $50 bundle. Let's say, it's quite a lot to expect someone to just come in and just spend a really large amount of money with you if they don't have that like trust factor. So smaller resources are a really great thing. That's one of the things I thought the other day when I was impulse buying a little mini bronzer blush little set thing. I was like, oh, I didn't even really need this. I just thought it was really cute, and like I like the idea of being able to try the small version without having to pay more and commit to the big version, because that's what it is. Like, you're trying it out before you spend a large amount of money. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. I think it's not just freebies that are great on TBT. Smaller, cheaper resources have value too, because they're just a way for people to kind of build a bit more trust with you, and then they can buy more expensive stuff. And so this is where you'd have product lines, cheaper resources, and then you've got the bundling option. Basically, this, I guess, what I would say here is you want to have this variety of price points in your store. So, for example, you have a free game in whatever subject area you're teaching. It's like this fun hands-on game that you do with your students, and you've got a free version of it. And then you've got a set of like 3 or 4 games, and it's priced at like $5 or something like that. And the freebie is like a sample of that. And then you have a bunch of other $5 resources just like that, all the different, seasons or something. The game comes in different versions, whatever. And they all get bundled together into a $50 bundle. And so then the buyer can come to your store and they can grab the free game, or the little set of $5 games, or the $50 bundle of games. But there's like all these different kind of entry points. Not everybody's going to invest in a big bundle. Not everybody's going to get the freebie. Not everyone's going to get the cheap one, but like everyone's drawn to different price points. But you're kind of broadening, your options there, because you've got the people that can only afford the cheaper thing. You've got the people that want to invest in more. You've got the free sample as a gateway to both of those other products. Like, it's really just good to have those different options, I think, in terms of price in your store. And, if you're someone that wants people to buy more expensive resources or more bundles from you, you need to look at making sure you have lots of good quality, freebies and smaller resources. Because that's like me, I'll try a free sample, or I'll buy a little mini, and then suddenly I'm willing to buy that expensive product from that brand. And that's the same on TBT. They might try your freebie or try your small little set of games, and then they're willing to come back and buy a big bundle from you. So definitely something to think about. So I've been mentioning price points, and I actually now want to just talk about how sometimes there's this misconception on TBT. I think a lot of, especially newer, smaller sellers, think that they can make more sales if they offer things really cheaply, having resources that are priced really, really low, kind of undervaluing themselves, hoping that they'll make more money somehow. But it's actually sometimes the opposite's true. People get really kind of put off by things that they think look too cheap, and they associate a higher price with quality. It's just like a psychological thing. So if they see something's $1, they think, oh, it's probably terrible, that's why it's priced $1. They see something's $100, they're like, oh, that's probably really amazing, why else would it be priced as $100? So I often find myself buying high-end, really luxury makeup over cheaper stuff, even though the cheaper stuff probably could be just as good. Those kind of drugstore makeup brands, some of them are really, really great. And it's not really for social clout. Like, I'm not really telling anyone what I've bought. I think it's just that, obviously, like, I want good quality, but just how it makes me feel, I think, to purchase and own those things. Like I said, I've been influenced strongly by something I've seen on TikTok or whatever, and then I just get really excited and want to buy it. And yeah, there's something definitely going on there. But your buyers are the same too. They are going to think that your expensive items and your bundles are amazing, and that's why they price more. And so don't be afraid to create or offer higher price points, and definitely don't undervalue yourself and put your prices down. like I said, it can actually have the opposite effect and put people off, but also just in general, people will pay more for quality. If you've got something that's really amazing, it's better than what other people are offering, people are willing to spend more. Don't be scared of the fact that yours is more expensive than other sellers. Your game is more expensive than someone else's. If yours is better, people are going to be willing to pay for it. But yeah, in general, like putting your prices down, it might actually put people off and they're going to think that your resource is not good. So there's a lot of psychology behind pricing. So definitely something to be mindful of.
In terms of Ada, I'd say that's kind of hitting on the desire, I guess. I feel like, it's not the awareness anymore. It's like having an interest in something, but having that desire to have it.
Okay, so that's the end of part 1. I didn't want this episode to be like 40 minutes long. Who has time for that? So tune back into the next episode to hear more tips. I'll see you then. Have a terrific day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Terrific Teacherpreneur. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Come back for more actionable tips and helpful wisdom in the next episode with your host, Alex. Until then.